I'm 77 years old now, and if I could go back and whisper one thing to my 25-year-old self, it wouldn't be about money or career or any of that. It would be about something I didn't understand until it was almost too late. My name is Robert, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately. When I was 25, I thought I had it all figured out. I'd just gotten my first real job at an accounting firm in Philadelphia, married my college sweetheart Linda, and we'd moved into a tiny apartment on the third floor of a building that smelled like cabbage every Tuesday. I remember standing in that apartment looking at our second-hand furniture and our wedding photos in cheap frames, and thinking this was just the beginning, just a stepping stone to something bigger and better. I was so sure that the real life, the important life, was waiting for me somewhere down the road. I threw myself into work the way young men do when they're trying to prove something. 60-hour weeks, sometimes 70. I'd come home late, eat whatever Linda had kept warm for me, and fall asleep on the couch with papers spread across my lap. She never complained, not really. She'd just cover me with a blanket and kiss my forehead and go to bed alone. I told myself I was doing it for us, for our future, for the life we were going to have once I made partner, once we had enough saved up, once everything fell into place. Our daughter Sarah was born when I was 28. I was in the office when Linda called, and I remember the panic in her voice, and I remember racing to the hospital and holding this impossibly small person in my arms and feeling terrified and overwhelmed and more alive than I'd ever felt. I took 3 days off work, 3 days, then I was back at my desk because there was a big audit coming up and they needed me and I needed to prove I was indispensable. I missed her first word. Linda told me about it when I got home at 9:30 on a Thursday. "Mama," she'd said. I smiled and said, "That's wonderful, honey," and felt something twist inside my chest, but I pushed it down because what was I supposed to do? Quit my job? We had a mortgage by then, a real house in the suburbs with a yard and a fence and everything I thought we were supposed to want. The years went like that. I kept thinking I'd slow down once I made partner, and then I made partner, and I kept thinking I'd slow down once we had enough in savings, and then we had enough in savings, and there was always something else, always another milestone, another reason to keep pushing. Sarah grew up in the spaces between my absences. Linda took her to piano lessons and soccer practice and parent-teacher conferences. I showed up when I could, which wasn't often enough, and everyone understood because I was providing, because I was successful, because that's what fathers did. I remember Sarah's 16th birthday. We threw her a party in the backyard and all her friends came and I stood there with my camera taking pictures. And at one point she was laughing at something one of her friends said and I realized I didn't know who any of these kids were. I didn't know their names or how she knew them or what they meant to her. My own daughter's life had become something I observed from the outside, like watching a movie about someone else's family. She went to college, and I helped her move into her dorm, and I hugged her goodbye and drove home to a house that felt too quiet. Linda had dinner ready, just the two of us at the table for the first time in 18 years, and I looked at her across that table and realized I didn't really know her anymore either. We'd lived parallel lives in the same house, her raising our daughter while I chased something I couldn't even name anymore. We talked about the weather and the news, and whether we needed to replace the water heater, and there was this canyon between us, made of all the dinners I'd missed, and all the conversations we'd never had, and all the moments I'd traded for conference calls and late nights at the office. I retired at 65 like you're supposed to. They threw me a party at work and gave me a gold watch, and everyone said nice things about my dedication and my work ethic. I came home that Friday afternoon with a box of my desk belongings and 40 years of my life behind me, and I sat in my home office surrounded by plaques and awards and commendations, and I felt completely empty. Linda died 4 years ago. Pancreatic cancer. They found it too late. I had 6 months with her after the diagnosis, and for the first time in our marriage, I had nothing but time. I sat with her every day in the hospital, and then in hospice, holding her hand, reading to her, just being there. And one afternoon near the end, When she was drifting in and out of sleep, she squeezed my hand and said, "I'm glad you're here now." And the way she said it, I knew what she meant. All those years, all those moments I'd missed because I thought I had time, because I thought the important stuff would happen later, after I'd built the life we were supposed to have. Sarah visits me every Sunday now. She's married, has 2 kids of her own, beautiful kids, my grandchildren, and I'm trying to do it differently with them. I'm trying to be present, to actually see them, to understand that this moment right here is the only one I'm guaranteed. But sometimes I watch Sarah with her husband, and I see how they look at each other, how they laugh together, how they know each other in this easy, intimate way, and I think about the marriage I could have had with Linda if I'd understood that love isn't something you build toward, it's something you practice every single day in the small moments. Here's what I wish someone had told me when I was 25, standing in that tiny apartment thinking my real life was waiting for me somewhere in the future. This is it. This is your life, not the one you're planning for, not the one you'll have once you achieve whatever goal you've set for yourself. The life you're living right now in this unremarkable moment, with these people who love you, this is the only life you get. I spent 40 years treating my life like a rehearsal for something bigger. I sacrificed the people I loved and the moments that mattered on the altar of someday. Someday when I make partner, someday when we have enough money, someday when things settle down. But someday never comes because there's always another goal, always another reason to postpone the real living. Your wife asking about your day, that matters. Your daughter's piano recital, that matters. Sitting on the porch on a Tuesday evening, watching the sun go down, that matters. These aren't the things you do while you're waiting for your life to start. These are your life. This is all any of us get. I have enough money now. More than enough. I have a house that's too big for one person, and a retirement account I'll never spend, and awards collecting dust in boxes in the garage. And I would trade all of it, every single bit of it, for one more ordinary Tuesday evening with Linda. One more dinner, where I came home at 5:30 instead of 9. One more bedtime story I could have read to Sarah. One more moment I could have been there instead of somewhere else, chasing something that didn't matter nearly as much as I thought it did. You think you have time. I know you do because I thought the same thing. But time isn't something you save up for later. It's something you spend right now, and you never get to know how much you have left. The people you love won't be here forever. You won't be here forever. And when you get to the end, and you will get there faster than you can possibly imagine right now, the only thing that will matter is whether you loved the people in your life while you had the chance. So if you're 25 or 35 or 45, and you're working late again and you're missing dinner again, and you're telling yourself it's just for now, just until you reach whatever goal you've set, please hear me. Go home. Turn off your phone. Be where you are. Look at the person sitting across from you and really see them. This moment, this ordinary, imperfect, beautiful moment, this is what you'll wish you had more of when you're 77 and you're sitting alone in a quiet house, remembering everything you missed. Don't wait for someday. Don't spend your life rehearsing. The curtain is already up. This is the show, and it goes by so much faster than you think.